Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Feldman, curator of PromisedLandMuseum.org, the online Jewish museum of the Palestinian Experience. We're here today to offer a quick tour of one of the 6 galleries in the museum, the Peaceful Palestine Gallery. The Peaceful Palestine exhibit describes how Jews have had a continuous connection to the Holy Land for thousands of years. In Palestine, Palestinian Jews had been living peacefully alongside Palestinian Christians and Palestinian Muslims, all coexisting together, perhaps not altogether unlike the religious diversity we have today in America. The Peaceful Palestine exhibit begins with stereographic photographs taken in Palestine over 100 years ago. These pictures are like the old Viewmasters, popular when I was a child. This technology is the old way of creating a 3D image. These images were obtained from the Library of Congress, and you could flip through them to get a sense of what life was like for some Palestinians. Life in Palestine was captured in a lovely moving picture, perhaps one of the first movies ever made, by the Lumiere brothers in 1896. You can see the video by clicking on the link provided. I hope you enjoy this movie as much as I do. The Peaceful Palestine Gallery also has maps obtained from the Library of Congress. Here's a map of Palestine dating from 1759. You can see the Sea of Galilee, the Dead Sea, and the Mediterranean. Even then, Palestine was covered with towns. Here's another map, this one from 1782, titled Terra Sancta, the Holy Land, Palestine. We see the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea above, the Mediterranean below, and you see many towns identified over the countryside of Palestine. What was Palestine like for Jewish people back before the 20th century? Was it a dangerous place for Jewish people? Israeli Jewish historian Benny Morris documented that in the 27 years ending in 1908, there had been a total of 13 Jews killed by Arabs, and all but 4 of those were in robberies or similar crimes. Even the distinction between Jew and Arab would not have been made, because Palestinian Jews were Arabs. They spoke Arabic. They were Palestinian Arab Jews. Later, in 1922, many Jews had immigrated to Palestine. The majority of the population in Palestine was still mostly Muslim, along with the Christians and Jewish people living there. The museum has a 1931 World Almanac with an entry on Palestine. The almanac describes the population of Palestine at that time, Palestine's economy, including its agricultural production, as well as the hundreds of schools, thousands of teachers, and tens of thousands of students in Palestine. You may have heard of the 1929 Hebron massacre of Jews in Palestine, and it's described in some detail in the 1931 almanac. About 120 Jews were killed in the massacre. One of the things the almanac mentions, that I didn't know growing up, was that the riots of 1929 didn't just involve killing Jews. Over 800 Muslims were also killed in Palestine that year. It was during a time when the British controlled Palestine. A League of Nations report on the outbreak stated that Arab interests were not fully safeguarded in the face of Jewish colonization, and that the Arab outbreak was incited primarily by Arab disappointment over non-realization of their political aspirations. The gallery closes with more descriptions of the Lumiere moving picture of Palestine. This gallery was designed to provide a sense of what Palestine was like before the effort to colonize the area, before the 1917 Balfour Declaration. The Balfour Declaration stated the goal of creating a Jewish homeland in Palestine. The next gallery in the museum is the Creation of State Gallery. It goes into detail about how a Jewish state was formed in this land that had a majority Muslim population. I hope you've enjoyed this short introduction to the Peaceful Palestine Gallery, and we'll take time to explore it in more detail, along with the other resources here in the museum. I'm Dr. Steve Feldman, curator of the museum. Thank you for your time.